I am smoking my cigar while contemplating life. Got in my eye. All right, well, in today's video, I want to talk about something that's been plaguing me, which is technology and the role of it in life these days. As of now, I'm currently enrolled in a boot camp sponsored by, well, not sponsored by, but Thankful Coding Boot Camp. And it is a great boot camp, and I find the mentor sessions and the people to be very helpful. I'm very grateful for all the support that I'm getting. But sometimes, due to several reasons, I find myself getting bogged down and unmotivated to move forward. And I'll give you some of the reasons why. One of the reasons is that it's tough for me to get excited about coding sometimes because I personally believe that technology has taken over our lives as human beings in a lot of ways, and it's making us go crazy. And do I want to really contribute to the downfall of humanity in that way? No, I don't. However, do I want to be someone that lives completely without technology? No. I think that there's a use for it, and I think it's an amazing way to express our intelligence as beings, as creative forces on this planet. And yeah, just express our ability to create. It's a creative force, technology. And I think it's, once again, just to reiterate, an expression of our power. And it's a great thing to be able to do. But yes, I think that it has taken over many people's lives to the point where wherever you go, everyone is addicted to their smartphones and has become the slave to technology, as opposed to taking technology and using it as a vehicle to empower their own values. A great book on this is called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. Amazing book. So whenever I get like bogged down by the course because it moves at such a ridiculously fast pace, which is another reason why I'm having problems with it. By the way, this is a cigar. This is not marijuana. This is a cigar. Another reason why I get bogged down is because of the fast pace. And in order to stay strong when the pace is fast and you're, messing up a lot, which is what I'm kind of going through right now and making mistakes, and there's not that much gratification, you have to have a strong why. And that's where my why gets really questioned, is during these moments. So that's why I'm making this video. I want to start talking about this subject so I can develop my own philosophy on technology and use it as fuel to get through this course during the dark times, so I have a strong enough why to do so. So furthermore, what I decided is that if I am going to get involved in technology, then I want to do it in such a way that it makes sense to me. And the way that it makes sense to me is to create technology that adds to our lives as human beings. Why is this channel called Athena Optimize? Well, if you go to my site and you check out the About Me, you will see that Athena is the Greek goddess for justice, strategy, intelligence, and ultimately doing the right thing is what it comes down to, and seeing the truth about the situation. So I think that the truth about the situation is, once again, what I just said about how technology is starting to get, it's like the pendulum, right? At first it was helping us with processes and things like that, but now it's swaying too far to the other side, where it's kind of enslaving us in a way, where people are becoming so addicted to it that they, with all these corporations literally hiring teams of like behavioral psychologists and all kinds of people to design the apps in order to make them as addicting as possible, right? And then we can go way further down that rabbit hole. So how do we swing that pendulum back, right? That's what I'm trying to get at with what kind of technology I want to create, and what my brand is all about. It's about creating technology and using it in such a way that it optimizes your life and adds to the values. Adds to the values of your life. So, for example, YouTube is a great piece of technology if used with discipline, because it allows me to express my ideas and share my philosophy and be in touch with real world feedback, because it's tough to find like-minded people in my neighborhood. So that's a great piece of technology. Another great piece of technology is meetup.com, because it allows you to create groups that do pretty much the same thing. Another great piece of technology is email, because it allows you to communicate with people, say distant relatives, and stuff like that. Another great piece of technology, I mean, there's plenty. Big one I use is Evernote. Evernote is a great piece of technology because it allows me to stay organized with so many different things. I mean, my schedules, my day plans, articles that I may be writing or reading, and much, much, much more. So these things allow me to have one place where I can keep all that. And that's an example of, once again, using it in a way that adds to my life, adds to my values. But then it gets out of hand. I mean, even YouTube, with all the amazing pieces of information that are out there on it, there's a problem with it, because and I had a conversation about this with my one of my best friends the other day, or just last night actually. We were talking about how there's this fear of missing out when it comes to information. So you might be like, all right, just one more YouTube video so I can understand something a bit more, or so I can, but in reality, what you're doing is you're just kind of distracting yourself, because your implementation is so low. I mean, of all the hours that I've listened to YouTube videos, I've only applied a small percentage of what I learned, like an extremely small percentage of what I learned. So I could have saved a lot more time and been way better off mentally, even by cutting down the amount of information that I consume, choosing the amount of information I consume very carefully, and what information and who is communicating it, and then carefully setting up plans and procedures to apply that information while taking a break from any more information, because it's like information overload otherwise, because you're always going to be bogged down by other agendas, other ideas, and it's like analysis paralysis times 100, because you have so many conflicting pieces of information that you never end up actually experimenting, and you're always looking for the next best thing. That's a trap I've fallen into many times and continue to fall into, but I'm starting to get a handle on it by talking to you guys here. So this video is more of a rant than anything else. It's a video where I'm attempting to dissect the role of technology in human life, or in how I see myself, my truth. This is my truth. It might not be yours, but this is how I see the role of technology in my life and in the life of my close ones. So once again, my goal is to create technology that aids my life and the life of the people close to me, and of the world, hopefully, as well. So how do you create technology in line with that? Well, that's the question. And I'm also saying this so that I don't get unmotivated, because technology is a great thing. It's an expression of human intelligence. It's what allows us to make many breakthroughs in other industries as well. It's a beautiful thing. But I don't like the way that it's currently being used. I think that it's being perverted. I think it's being perverted in terms of its use, and how addicted we are to it, and how much control it gives certain corporations and governments. And I'm going to stand up for that, and I'm not going to hide those views. So what areas of technology interest me? Well, I would say that productivity, that area of technology interests me. How do you create technology that enhances your productivity in your own life? So, in other words, if you're a plumber, maybe you want to implement technology into your life in order to help you manage your customers, for example, and that could be a great thing for you, or your bills, and that already exists. There's stuff like LegalZoom or TurboTax or whatever, stuff like that. Those kinds of companies, which are cool, that aid with those processes, so you're not bogged down by a million pieces of paper. So once again, how else can we use technology in an ethical manner to improve our lives? If we want more free time with our loved ones, where we can actually bond with them, technology, I don't know. I guess in those situations, you don't actually want to use technology at all. You know, if you're having a family dinner, then you should not use technology, in my opinion. You should put your phones in the other room and just be together, bonding. What other aspects of technology interest me? Well, physical technology interests me as well, such as EMF radiation blockers, because there's evidence coming out talking about the effects of 5G wireless. Networks on human mental and physical health. You might call that tinfoil conspiracy bullshit, but hey, I'm open to these kinds of ideas because I rather err on the side of safety in terms of what kind of freaking appliances I put around myself than on the side of, oh, everything's fine. I trust everybody. I trust all the corporations that are putting their stuff out there. Nah, they're not motivated by money in any way. I'm not naive enough to think that. Okay. They're not motivated by whatever it is that their agenda happens to be. I'm not naive enough to think that all these corporations have my best interests in mind as a person. Right? So technology that helps reduce potentially dangerous radiation coming from very strong signals is of interest to me. What other aspects of information interest me? Well, technology that helps you, let's say, design furniture. That's interesting. Like iPads, when you have the Sketch pen and you basically design different items, and then then you build them out later on. If you're a carpenter and you use your iPad to sketch new project ideas, that could be a very cool thing for you. It could be more efficient for you that way. It could be quicker that way, and it could be more fun. And that's a nice way to use technology. It's not really destroying your bond with other human beings when you do that. So once again, it fits into your value system. But what I don't want to do is design technology that's addicting with the intention of, oh, this technology, it'll help investors make more money because it literally conditions the user to be more addicted to it so that we can sell them more stuff or whatever it happens to be, right? Or it takes advantage of their impulsivity. So there's a balance, and it's tough sometimes when this is my experience, when you're learning this stuff and then it's really tough and you're like, man, why am I even doing this? Am I going to contribute to the downfall of society by doing this? And I just spoke to my mentor, and he said, technology can be used for good or evil. You just can. I mean, right? The atomic bomb is, a piece of technology. There's different kinds of technology. There's software, there's hardware, there's, chemical, whatever. I happen to be in software. So, yeah, it really can be used for good or evil. It's not one of those things that's just pretty much good. It's just not. It can easily be used for the wrong thing. And I'm tempted to sometimes think that we've reached a point where we have enough technology, like we don't need any more. We don't need any more improvements. We don't need any more advancements. We can kind of enjoy this for a while. But I feel like there's something wrong with that mindset as well, because it's sort of like suppressing our creative natures as beings to constantly improve and evolve things. But sometimes in order to evolve something, the best thing to do is to limit it. So, for example, if you want to be healthy and strong, you don't do that by constantly working out or constantly eating. You eat the right food, and then you give your body time to use it. And if you keep stuffing yourself, you're eventually just going to grow sick and fat and miserable. And it's the same thing with technology. It's like if we keep evolving it all the time and expecting it to get more and more virtual reality and more, I think virtual reality is a good example of this. It's like, do we really want more and more virtual reality? Do we really want more and more video games and stuff like that? I mean, is that really the role? Or it's kind of like overconsumption at this point? Or should we instead use technology in such a way that let's use technology to discipline certain aspects of life? So this is where another piece of technology that I like when it comes to this is those applications that block certain things on your computer. For example, I have one over here called DFTube, Distraction Free for YouTube. So it's an extension you install in Chrome, and basically it blocks all the feeds of YouTube, so you don't get distracted all the time. Because it's so easy to fall into that one more video and one more video and one more video and all that. So it takes away, and that's an example of we're using technology, but now we're using it to limit the negative aspects of technology. So that's a field that interests me. Another field that interests me is human performance. I mean, the technology that allows you to do brain scans and see how people's brains are and see what's going on. Like, are they having depression? Are they having OCD? Are they having issues? So that's a piece of technology that optimizes and cuts down time, because now you don't have to sit there and wonder what's going on with you. You can just see your brain and be like, okay, boom, this is what's going on. Or at least it gives you a hint of what's going on. So that's another example of positive use of technology. But then you have the other aspect of that, which is potentially very negative, which is connecting your consciousness, your brain, to AI, which is coming supposedly in 2030. So 11 years from now, 10 and a half years from now. Ray Kurzweil talks about this. And he says it's a great thing, and it's going to allow us to have more complex thinking and things like that. Like, we're going to be able to have new, higher levels of abstract thinking and what have you. But I don't like that idea, because what that does is it allows you to connect your consciousness, aka your ability to perceive reality, to a platform that's not controlled by you. And once again, I'm not naive enough to think that all these corporations have our best interests in mind. And just like that platform can theoretically be used for something good, well, it can also easily be used for something bad. And that's where I think we have to start drawing limits as to, okay, here's something we can do, but the price isn't worth doing it. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. Right? It's like if you think about like World War II, just because Hitler could have potentially invaded the entire world and set up a centralized government, and maybe for his people it would have been good. Maybe it wouldn't have been good for everybody else, because now they're destroying entire cultures and systems because they think that their system and culture is the best one, and they're destroying the natural diversity of the planet. So just like that, we have individual natural diversity, we have individual thinking, we have individual kind of realities in a way, and by all connecting to one source of intelligence, artificial intelligence, then we're basically destroying that natural diversity potentially. So do we really want to destroy the natural diversity just because we can have more conceptual, sort of more ability to think like on higher levels thanks to AI and all this kind of stuff? Like, I don't think it's worth it, honestly. I don't think it's worth the risk. I think we're better off using technology in different ways to serve our values in different ways. Who says we have to do it that way? Yeah, it's a possibility of something we can do, just like it was a possibility for Hitler's supposedly superior system in his eye to invade the planet. Didn't mean it was good for the rest of us. It didn't mean it was good for the natural diversity of all the different cultures and different countries and all that. So this is a very loaded talk, and I'm once again kind of just ranting because I just want to pinpoint my own thinking, and by talking about it, I clarify it to myself, and hopefully we can continue this conversation as a species or whatever, whoever's listening, and start moving the dial of technological evolution in such a way where we can still use it. We don't have to be completely against it, but where we recognize, okay, there's a limit to this stuff. There's a way to use it, and there's a way to use it wrong, and there's a way to use it right, and there's costs and benefits for each way, and there's a price for everything we do. So let's just be mindful of that price. And if you're interested in technology and you like it and you want to learn programming, go ahead. I think there's nothing wrong with it intrinsically. But if you're one of those people that are like me and you're like, man, if I'm going to learn this stuff and my intention is to do something good with it, how the hell am I going to do it? Well, this conversation is just that. It's talking about people that are passionate about technology, that want to build things, that are interested in it. Nothing wrong with that, once again, but want to use it in such a way that it contributes to life and to nature and to living in a more enlightened manner. So I am not going to give up. I'm going to continue learning these skills because they are interesting, but I am going to continuously seek ways to apply them to life so that it makes for a better society with more love, more depth, more true connection between you and your loved ones, in a way that makes us stronger, happier, more positive, faster, more. It's like what Nietzsche talks about, the Ubermensch, right? The superhumans. Like, great, but hold on, right? Loaded term, superhumans. I think Ray Kurzweil uses the same term to say how we would be once we merge with machines. But like, I'm not trying to merge with machines if those machines are being controlled by platforms that don't have my best interests in mind. So there's a balance. When I say superhuman, I mean in a way that's as natural and strong as possible, in a way that's as decentralized as possible. So let's continue the conversation. What do you guys think? How are you using technology in a way that adds to your life? How are you using technology in a way that's potentially destroying aspects of your life or harming aspects of your life? And what are you going to do about it?